Fantastic. All right, let's get to it. Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Debo's in-game compilation set of guides. This will be the in-game build for the CarnEvil. Some people ask me, well, Debo, what does in-game mean? Pretty much, Torment level 6, pushing the build to its maximum potential, and utilizing pretty much best in slot gear for every slot. That's pretty much what the end game is, or that's the agenda. That's what all drives us, is to get the best gear, use it, reroll it with the best stats, and then pretty much proceed to how do you say, just I guess win the match, or just kill all the monsters faster, really. But anyways, we'll be utilizing the CarnEvil build today. If you want to check out my other CarnEvil build at lower level Torment, which is about Torment 3, you can go ahead and check that out on YouTube. I have that listed. But this is CarnEvil for Torment level 6. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. Of course, we're going to be using the helmet called the CarnEvil. Your fetish to shoot a poison dart when you do. In case you don't know how that looks like, let me show you. See, isn't that pretty cool? They shoot darts with you. Alright. So, of course, we're going to run that. Got the Untitled crit percent chance on that, life and hit. Pretty happy about that. Ogdal's power, of course, with the increased fetish army damage, which will increase the damage of our fetishes. And then also Honor Bracer, of course, increase poison damage. Since we got the 2-piece Ogdals with the Roll Ring of Grandeur, we get the 3-piece bonus. We also have a Ouroboros with poison damage and critical percent chance and critical damage. I'm happy about that. Hopefully I can get one in the future that has 20%. Tasker and Theo. Now, just be forewarned, Tasker and Theo, increased attack speed does not work on the fetishes for the CarnEvil build. But the reason why it's so good is because sometimes, well, plus, not to mention, when you also do run Gargantuan Alpha Protector, he's affected by that. Sometimes you won't always be able to shoot darts because of walls, angles, or different things of that nature. So sometimes it's just better to let them just regular auto attack. And when they do start auto-attacking, they are affected by the Tasker and Theo. So that is a little bonus as well, too. But pretty much any gloves will be pretty straightforward if you just run Trifecta on them. We have the Zunimasa Marl. Excuse me. Unfortunately, I don't have one that has increased fetish army damage. That's exactly what you want. I do have one for Gargantuan damage, because I do have a build for, like I said, I have one Zunimasa chest for Gargantuan, one for Zombie Dog, but I'm still waiting on one more Zunimasa chest so I can have one with the increased fetish army. We have Stone of Jordan with poison damage, and hopefully I can get a better one that's poison in the future that has critical chance or attack speed or something that could help out with the build. Witching Hour is best slot because it gives you more attack speed and it gives you critical damage. That's just basically how it goes. I'm rocking the old school level 61, but the level 71 will suffice. The reason why attack speed is so important, because when you shoot darts, they only shoot darts when you shoot darts. So if you have a slow attack speed, then your fetishes are going to hurt because they're shooting slow as well too. So we want to have a lot of attack speed, because the faster we shoot, the more they shoot. And then also the critical damage helps out immensely. So when the fetishes do crit, you know, their damage does go up on that critical. When they critical, their crits will hit a lot harder. So that's why it makes it pretty much best in slot. Roll Ring of Grandeur, straightforward here. Attack speed and crit chance, really happy about that. I'd like to get Trifecta, but I mean, that's easier said than done. Swampland Waterers, increased poison damage and vitality and double socket. Elemental damage poison on pants, sounds like a plan. The weapon that pulls it all together, the infamous Star Metal Kukri. Now, the reason why I don't have critical damage on this one is because back before they changed the pets, it used to be attack speed used to be the #1 DPS stat, because they would cap off the critical damage and the critical percent chance. But now, I mean, if I find another one, I probably will keep the critical damage. Zunimasa Trail, and of course Zunimasa offhand with the fetish army damage. Pretty straightforward, 3-piece, so you can make sure your fetishes stay out permanently. Alright, cool. So as in towards the skills, Poison Dart is mandatory because they only shoot darts when you shoot darts. We have Snake to the face so we can stun Rift bosses and stun elites. Piranhas with Paranado because it's great crowd control, it's poison property, and it's amazing. Spirit Walk with Jaunt, so we stare in the Spirit Walk one as long as possible to get ourselves out of problems and situations. Gargantuan and Raffle Protector. Now I know it's fire, but listen up. Guy hits incredibly hard. We have Tasker and Theo, makes him tack a lot, and since we have so much cooldown reduction from skills, let me tell you, it's gonna be constantly popping off while we're using this build. Or, you know, if you really like, you could basically even if you want even more cooldown reduction, you can go ahead and substitute out, if you have a socket on your CarnEvil, with a diamond, and get that 12.5% cooldown reduction. Fetish Army with Legion of Daggers, best rune. I know it's physical, but when they shoot darts, it actually becomes poison. So they'll be doing 180% weapon damage, 8 fetishes that will be shooting poison darts. Big Bad Voodoo Slam Dance. More attack speed means faster that we can shoot our darts with. The faster we shoot our darts, the more the Fetish Army is going to shoot their darts. And increase 30% damage. Now, the attack speed that they would normally double dip and get, it does not apply to the fetishes when they're shooting the darts, but they do get the increased damage that they get. Their damage is going to go up because you're inside of it, and then plus if they're inside of it too, then they're going to double dip on the damage, but not the attack speed. Okay, passives are going to be Pierce the Veil for obvious reasons, increased damage, and we're not using a lot of mana. Spirit Vessel for survivability, Tribal Rights, and Grave Injustice. If you would like to switch out Spirit Vessel for Midnight Feast because you have more toughness, then by all means, because then that'll make it so your Gargantuan hits harder. Some people wonder why I don't run Fetish Sycophants. Well, the thing I noticed, at least when you're running SMK, when you're actually resummoning the Fetish Army over and over again, it kills all the fetishes out in the field of play and replaces it with it from the how many we got set for the skill. And the reason why you want to constantly keep recasting is because sometimes your fetishes might wander off in a different direction. Maybe they're too far behind you, and then to shorten the time of which they're just basically herp-de-derping around on another corner or behind a wall, if you resummon them, they resummon all right around you, and then you could begin focusing down your target. So that's the reason I run that. I run Tribal Rights, reduces the cooldown Big Bad Gargantuan, Fetish Army, and Big Bad Voodoo, so we can just spam it indefinitely. And then of course Grave Injustice just gives us more cooldown reduction. So we'll go ahead and just show off the build. We're gonna start on the bridge with KORSIKK, run through these little bounties real quick. And for me at least, I enjoy the build, and I think it works very well. And I think the strongest part about this build is, like, since you're using CarnEvil, you can actually control how do you say how often you can get Big Bad Voodoo up. Because since, like, with Jerome in Star Metal Kukri, it's nice, but you have to wait for the fetishes to actually melee. When you can control what they shoot, you can guarantee damage goes in directly, which means is, like, you can focus all your shots on one target. You're delivering damage through the fetishes, so they reduce that cooldown by 1 second per hit. So it reduces the cooldown, or it triggers the effect of Star Metal Kukri so often it gets quite ridiculous, to the point where you can just spam Big Bad Voodoo over and over again. The only thing about this build, you have to be a little bit more conscious about your placing and how you do things, because you don't want to get yourself caught in a crazy position. But as long as you're aware, you're using Piranhas or Peronato and stuff like that, you should have no problems. Plus you have Spirit Walk, so you'll be spending a lot of time Spirit Walking through and away from mobs or into mobs, or basically keeping you safe. Not to mention also well, I mean, most of these things just die really immediately, so I mean, you don't really have much to worry about. But I definitely run this version when I'm in parties and stuff like that, if I need to give the party a boost, because I can always just keep Big Bad Voodoo up permanently, which is increased 20% attack speed and 30% increased damage. Makes everybody do what they need to do a lot more effectively. Now, some people say, like, well, I would prefer running Droms, but like I said again, just Droms is good with with it. I think Drom with Star Metal Kukri definitely adds like a lot of DPS potential to it. I think overall that can probably farm a little bit quicker. But the trade-off is with the CarnEvil is that you can just constantly reset Big Bad Voodoo, and you can keep it up to like maybe a 90. You can keep it up like indefinitely as long as you can connect your hits with your fetishes, which is real easy, and its range. You got a permanent Big Bad Voodoo for you and your party. Now solo-wise, that gets a little bit weaker because no matter how you add it up, the fetish darts, they don't do as much damage as they don't do as much damage as a Jerome build with Tall Man's Finger and all that fire damage, and the Zombie Dog and the Gargantuan hitting really hard. But in terms of utility and DPS, it's just, I think Star Metal is just unmatched. because just being able to have that big bad voodoo spammable, and then of course you got your snake to the face and Piranha's a Peronato, it just amplifies your party's clear rate by a lot more. So if you ever have like if you have like a CarnEvil, or you eventually get your star medal, or a friend that runs this build or something along this lines, you should give them a try. Invite them to party. They can make sure you guys keep that DPS up, and when they're keeping that DPS up, that means everything's dying faster. Things are dying faster. It means you're clearing through the dungeons a lot faster and getting stuff done. Alright, so we got Mr. Elite acting a little bit crazy. Oh, I almost forgot to say. Sometimes when your fetishes get stunned or they get frozen, for some odd reason, they won't shoot darts anymore. But you can either do two things, just let them kind of finish it out and kill whoever they got to do. You can resummon the fetishes. Sometimes when you rezone in, it fixes it. But I've I've noticed that a lot, especially when they get frozen or stunned or somehow CC'd or something like that. It somehow in the code makes it so that they don't, when you start shooting darts again, they won't keep shooting darts. So like I said, some people just resummon, some people just let them run the course of their lives. And the same thing happens to the ones that actually generate from the fetish army or the fetish sycophants. The ones from the fetish sycophants as well, if they get CC'd or they get somehow slowed or something like that happens, then the same thing happens. They just basically kind of just herp to derp and just kind of sit there. Okay, next wave. And like I said, Grave Injustice with Piranhas and Peronato give you so much CC. It's kind of ludicrous. And then as long as the fetishes keep doing their damage, which they are. I didn't see that guy over there. I didn't know he was just derping out. As long as your fetishes are doing damage, you're always going to have your cooldown, your fetish army reset, and your big bad voodoo. We have tribal rights, which reduces the cooldown even more. And then, plus that allows us to spam Gargantuan Raffle as much as we want. Now remember, like I said before, if you are running more toughness, you can actually opt for the Midnight Feast, because that would increase his damage by 50%. But even right now, he's doing 50 million damage a hit. More than enough for me. He's doing his job, and as you see, he's almost off cooldown. So if you actually ran like a little bit more cooldown on this, or if you took the reduced cooldown in your Paragon points, if you have that many points to distribute or what have you not, you can actually get Gargantuan a lot lower. I'm approaching the point where I'm thinking about doing that, reducing the critical damage, because I got a Witching Hour, maybe even getting cooldown reduction, which would give me even more lower cooldown on my skills. But more importantly, I can keep that Raffle Protector up, so he's like fighting alongside me in battle consistently and constantly, because he does add a lot of good damage and he does a real good job for the most part. Sometimes he derps out on elites, but hey, that's just what happens sometimes. But they're going to be improving that AI in the future, so not too much to worry in that regards. Now, if you do want, some other people said, "Hey, Debo, I don't have a a Stone of Jordan," or "Hey, Debo, I'm having problems. I need some more tankability. What should I do?" What you actually could do in a variation of this is drop the Saj, use the Tall Man's Finger, and drop Piranhas or Peronato and use Zombie Dogs. Your passives would be Pierce the Veil, Fierce Loyalty, Zombie Dog Handler, Midnight Feast. And then you use, you can either use Raffle with Slam Dance, if you want to keep using that for like your quote-unquote elite killer, or you can put the Gargantuan on Big Stinker because it's a poison property. And what you do is you have your Zombie Dog set to poison, and with all those skills in place, your Zombie Dog should hit, well, it depends on what you want to do. If you reduce his damage to the fetishes, then you can get your Zombie Dog to hit up to about 80-90 million easy, if not more. Well, I won't say 80-90 million. We'll say about 75 to about 85, maybe 90 if you get lucky for the most part. On the Zombie Dog, if you put all the damage towards him, Zombie Dog's another thing for it to tank for you in combination with the Raffle Protector. That can get the job done pretty well if you want to run that way. And I've met some people who run fetish sycophants, and they generate the fetishes the old-fashioned way. I've seen some use Rain of Toads, or some just have such an attack speed where they just basically shoot the darts and when they shoot the darts, it generates the fetishes, and they do it that way. I can't wait until the future in which they fix the bug with the current fetish sycophants, which allows for you know, you to actually stack the fetishes from the Zunimasa bonus or the fetish army with the ones from the passive, and then you can have a ton of fetishes out, because with this build you reach a certain plateau where the only way you can really actually increase your DPS is by having more fetishes out that can shoot darts, and fetish sycophants is a way to go with that, but they're conflicting still. You still can't produce more than 15, and then it will start replacing the ones inside your skills. So until they fix that, you're kind of just running either or. Now, if you were running if you're running the version where you generate your fetishes, then I would say the best thing for you to do is probably use the gargantuan dog, use the big stinker, and generate the fetishes, and that will probably be the best way to do it, and not use Zunimasa chest. And some people say, like, well, Debo, why wouldn't I use Zunimasa chest? Well, this is what you got to realize. If you don't want to run it with Zuni, that's fine. But if you're not running it with Zuni, it means you're generating fetishes, and until those fetishes are generated, you don't have anything that can really cover for you. So you would want to run Zombie Dog with poison, of course, Gargantuan. Gargantuan Zombie Dog, use the Tall Man's Finger, use the Gargantuan Big Stinker, and those guys will help you tank out things until you get a big fetish army out. Me, I've always preferred the ones from the skill because it combines so well with Star Metal, and it just makes things a lot easier. Now, if you are generating the fetishes, you don't necessarily have to use Star Metal. You actually can use maybe like a Thunder Fury, or this sounds kind of crazy, you can use Rhino Flailer. I've seen some people use just to get the maximum amount of fetishes out very quick, and then use dart everything down. So there's a lot of flexibility in the build, but I just prefer this iteration myself because I can just provide so much utility from the Piranhos de Paranado, Snake to the Face, and most importantly, Big Bad Voodoo. And then also, just because it just speeds up the party's clear time so much by having Big Bad Voodoo out. Alright, and we finally got to the Siegebreaker. Now, this is a situation I said, like, Tasker and Theo comes into play because you don't want to attack this guy. And if you, well, at least unless you're in Spirit Walk, because we all know, as you can see, reflect damage is horrible on this guy. So I just let my fetishes naturally attack the monster like they should, using Big Bad Voodoo. And they reduce the cooldown of Big Bad Voodoo still because they're landing damage. Not as much, but that's pretty much what you have to do. Now, I can attack him. It just has to be when I'm in Spirit Walk form. Otherwise, he's going to hurt. So on certain mobs that reflect and on certain mobs that wall, yeah, that's a weakness of the build. That's just something you have to deal with. But he's still going to go down nonetheless. Oh, still want him to grab me. And with Snake to the Face, as you see, it stuns him. And, ooh, I got Spirit Vessel. I'm okay. Okay, cool. He's dead. Alright. So, that's why also, like I said again, Tasker and Theo is pretty nice because when you can't shoot darts, because you either will deal with reflect damage or wallers, hey! Well, there you go. But then again, to remedy the wallers, I got, Bottomless Potion of Coolie Aid, so I really don't even have that problem anymore because I'll just pop the potion and then Spirit Walk through the walls and break them down. So, because those are the only two things that really hurt the build, is just those two. That and enemies that go directly for you, but then again, you still have Piranhas or Paranados, so you don't really have that much to worry about because any mobs that directly go after you, you cast Piranhas or Paranado, and everything just dies a horrible death. Okay. I don't like Illusionists with this build either, but hey, that's just something we have to deal with. And it's down. And we got the Wicked. And see, Snake to the Face pretty much keeps her locked in place, and she keeps getting stunned over and over again. Really shines in really good with the Rift bosses. With nice high attack speed, which you should have already because you're stacking attack speed, so your fetishes can shoot out darts as well. you should have no problem locking down a Rift boss. Maybe not 100% of the time, but definitely you'll be able to notice that the Rift boss is performing less actions, or the elite is, because you're landing your snake to the face. Unless you're going against like a dangerous elite or a dangerous Rift boss. Rift bosses, you can usually always try to get in there and try to stun them. Certain elites, like the ones that do mortar, Thunderstorm Jailer, you probably don't want to get too close to them in the first place, but you might get lucky and land your snake. Because once you land it on them and they get stunned, then you can kind of keep them in like a little stun lock until, you know, they take enough damage until they die. Okay. Uh-oh. There we go. So, since there's not too much to say about this build, because it's pretty much self-explanatory, you see how it's working, I will discuss on a project I've been working on. I've been working on Ladder Simulator 2014. I believe we're on day 9, and the character is, shout out to day 9. And then also our character is 55 hours into the game. The reason I'm doing this is because we don't know definitively or definitely when ladders are going to be coming out from Blizzard, let alone the PTR or whatever have you not. So I basically impose the same rules as I do in ladder. Character must be brand new, no Paragon levels, no gems. No gems, no items whatsoever. It's a clean character, and I started her from level 1, no help, all the way to level 70. She beat story mode about at level 36, and I did bounties on her from 36 to 70, and then I just ran rips and bounties, and 55 hours in, she's doing quite strong. So if you guys are been wondering what Ladder 2014 is and why I've been updating at least twice a week about it, it's just to keep up to date about how she's doing and how she's developing as a witch doctor, what items she has around like the different level, like hour markings, like okay, what was her gear at the 10-hour mark, 24-hour mark, 50 hours, 100 hours, 250, just so we can break it down and see what we kind of can expect for ladder and to get witch doctors prepared for it, so we have a leg up on all the other classes in the competition. And just because it gives me something to do, and plus no one else is putting out information about the ladders, or at least trying to simulate something so we can actually see what like it's the best skills to use, what's the best way to level, and what's the best way to allocate our money. Because the only big problem I am occurring with in the Ladder Simulator 2014 is not even getting gear like Jerome. I already got a Jerome and a Rhino Flaler, but the biggest problem is gold. But anyway, make sure you guys check those videos out. I'm not gonna kill anything else. You guys saw a boss kill. You guys saw me killing most of the mobs and things of that nature. If you have this set up, I would say, hey, try it out. You might enjoy it. It provides a lot of DPS for your party. You guys will be clearing things really fast. The hardest thing probably to get will be the Star Metal Cookery, but if you don't have that, that's okay. What you actually can do is just kind of maybe roll with Tall Man's Finger if you'd like. Or if you still just like to focus purely on the fetishes, if you don't have that, a Thunder Fury is pretty nice. Some people use Rhino Flaler and they don't use as many pieces to, you know, generate the fetishes out, then shoot darts. There's a lot of different options and utility ways you can do. But definitely when you start picking up those star medals, make sure you give this build a try, because Infinite Big Bad Voodoo is quite overpowered. But anyways, as always, I hope you guys like the videos. Thank you for checking out my in-game guide series of tutorial videos. I think the next one I'm going to be doing is Jade, and finishing up with Tall Man's Finger in-game build, and those will be the big 5 builds that most witch doctors are running. And after that, who knows, I might start developing more different builds, like how I did with the Cold Pet build, or I might be moving on more towards focusing with the ladder aspect of Ladder Simulator 2014, because that's actually proven to be very much fun. So, as always, my name is Debo. Thanks for checking out my videos, and I'll see you guys later.